Most people never actually ask for a raise. They wait, hoping good work gets noticed and rewarded automatically. And a lot of the people who do work up the courage to ask in a way that quietly undermines the entire conversation before it even gets started. By the end of this video, you'll have the exact preparation steps, the exact words to say in the actual conversation, and exactly how to handle the most common pushback responses. So the next time you ask, you're not guessing. Part 1. Why most people never ask. There's a quiet belief a lot of people carry into their careers that consistently good work will eventually get noticed and rewarded without anyone having to explicitly ask for it. In practice, this rarely happens on its own. Managers are juggling their own priorities. Budgets get set on a schedule that has little to do with any individual's specific month. And noticing someone's full contribution requires the kind of detailed accounting most managers simply don't have time to do unprompted. The other barrier is more emotional than logical. The conversation feels awkward. There's a real fear of an uncomfortable no. And without a clear structure to follow, it's easy to keep telling yourself, not quite the right time yet, indefinitely. The goal of the rest of this video is to remove the guesswork entirely, so the decision isn't, do I have the nerve? Is it sashing ready to stand? It's just following a process. Part 2. The exact preparation steps. Step 1. Research the real market rate for your specific role, location, and experience level. Use multiple sources, sites like Glassdoor, LinkedIn, salary data, and levels.fyi for tech-specific roles. And look for a range rather than a single number, since compensation data varies by source. This number is your evidence, not a guess. Step 2. Document specific accomplishments with concrete numbers, not general effort. I worked really hard this year gives a manager nothing to act on. I increased X by 20%. I saved the team Y dollars in process time, or I led the project that delivered Z, gives them something they can actually justify upward to their own manager or to HR. If you don't have hard numbers for everything, estimate conservatively and clearly label it as an estimate. A defensible estimate still beats a vague claim. Step 3. Time the conversation deliberately. The strongest moments are shortly after a clear, visible win or during a formal performance review cycle when compensation conversations are already expected. Avoid initiating it immediately after a bad quarter for the company or team, if that's publicly known. Not because you don't deserve it, but because timing affects how receptive the conversation is likely to be. Step 4. Decide your actual target number or range before the conversation, not during it. Walking in with "I'd like more money" gives the other side total control over the number. Walking in with a specific, research-backed figure changes the entire dynamic of the conversation. Part 3. The exact conversation script. Opening, book a dedicated meeting. Don't ask in passing. Something simple works. Do you have 20 minutes this week? I'd like to talk through my compensation. This signals it's a real conversation, not a hallway comment to deflect. The structure: accomplishments first, ask second, explicitly, a workable script. Over the past time frame, A, specific accomplishment with a number. And I also, second accomplishment with a number. Based on these results and my research into market rate for this role, I'd like to discuss adjusting my compensation to your specific number or range. Notice what this does. It leads with evidence, not need, and it ends with an explicit, specific number, not a vague request for more. After you ask, stop talking. This is the step almost everyone skips. Silence after a direct ask feels uncomfortable, and the instinct is to immediately soften it, apologize, or start justifying further. Let the silence sit. The person you're asking needs a moment to actually process the number. Filling that silence usually just dilutes the ask you already made clearly. If they need time to think it over, get a specific follow-up date, not an open-ended, "I'll get back to you." Something like, "That makes sense. Can we set a specific date to revisit this, say 2 weeks from now?" Turns an indefinite maybe into an actual commitment with a deadline. Part 4. How to handle common pushback. Let me think about it. Respond with a specific follow-up date as covered above. This is reasonable on their end, but it shouldn't become indefinite. We don't have budget for that right now. Ask directly when the next budget cycle opens and request that the conversation be revisited then specifically. This converts a soft no into a concrete next step rather than a dead end. It's also worth asking about non-salary alternatives in the same conversation. Title changes, additional vacation time, a remote work arrangement, or professional development budget can sometimes move when salary genuinely can't in the short term. An outright no with no clear path forward. Ask directly, what would need to be true for this to be a yes in the next review cycle? This reframes a closed door into a specific, visible set of milestones you can actually work toward and revisit with evidence later. Part 5. 5 mistakes that undermine the ASIC mistake. 1. Leading with personal financial need instead of professional value. I need this because rent went up is true and sympathetic, but it doesn't give a manager a business justification they can take to their own approval chain. Lead with what you delivered, not what you need. Mistake 2. Not having a specific number. A vague request for more hands all the control to the other side and makes the conversation easy to defer indefinitely. Mistake 3. Naming a specific co-worker's salary as comparison. Even if accurate, this routinely creates HR complications and shifts the conversation away from your own documented value entirely. Mistake 4. Threatening to leave without genuinely meaning it. An empty threat, if tested, costs you significant credibility going forward. Only use a competing offer as leverage if you would genuinely take it. Mistake 5. Accepting the first counteroffer immediately with no further discussion. A counteroffer is frequently an opening position, not a final one. It's reasonable to ask a clarifying question or propose a number between your ask and their counter before accepting. The biggest gap between people who get raises and people who don't usually isn't talent or output. It's whether they ever actually had the explicit, well-prepared conversation in the first place. Good work that's never made visible, with numbers in a direct ask, mostly just stays invisible. So here's the one action. If it's been over a year since your last raise, or you've taken on meaningfully more responsibility without a corresponding adjustment, start step 1 this week. Pull the actual market rate for your role and write down your specific numbered accomplishments from the past year. If this helped, do me a favor and hit subscribe. That's genuinely what grows this channel, and you'll catch the next breakdown the moment it's up.